What the hell have I gotten myself into? This is my new desk. Isn't it nice? This is a desk that I bought today for a fraction of what it originally cost. This desk would have cost probably about $1,000 or $1,200 in the late 1990s, and I got it for $100. And how I got it, one of my coworkers used to work for this big software company, and I think you all know where this is going to go. Anyway, this company was very successful and is still in business and is still successful in their field, and they know what they're doing. But they had built a beautiful 2-story brick building, nice office building, absolutely gorgeous inside. And they built all of these, cube stations. They weren't made from removable panels. They're actually drywall, low drywall, stick-built, walls. Anyway, so that was their cube farm, so to speak. And every one of these cubicles had one of these desks in it. And this is a beautiful U-shaped desk. And I'll show you a picture of it assembled, but you'll get to see it later on in the video. Anyway, so they were downsizing from their 50-some workforce down to about maybe 2 or 3, and they don't need any of these desks anymore. So I was doing a tour of the building because we're looking for stuff for where I work, and we're looking for things like equipment and desks and stuff like that. So I asked if I could, purchase one of these units, and they said, sure, absolutely. The CEO of the company said, yes, we'll sell you one. And here's a guy who makes my yearly salary in about a day. Kind of interesting when you put it all into perspective. But anyway, so yeah, we agreed on a price, and the deal was I had to disassemble it, which is fine with me because I wanted something that was properly disassembled. And I get to pick from any one I want. There's about 10 of these things, and I picked the best one, the one that had no missing parts, it had no breakage, no scratches or anything, in beautiful condition. So I borrowed my dad's truck, and I loaded the sucker up. I disassembled it in pieces, and as you can clearly see, this is what it looks like now. So I loaded it into my dad's truck, and I was dodging some really bad weather. The weather was all over the place today. It was 75 degrees, and as soon as I crossed into the town I live in, it dropped to 60 degrees, and it started downpouring. And the funny thing is, and I don't mean to stray from the subject at hand here, but New England weather is really that unpredictable. It just, all of a sudden, boom, rainstorm. And I knew that was coming, I just didn't know when or where. And the satellite maps are not always accurate. But the weather here is that unpredictable. It's crazy living out here in New England, but that is what it is. So now I've got to go ahead and look at that. This is the return. This is this right here is as big as my entire desk right now, and that's just the U-shaped return, or the one that goes off to the right-hand side, into the away from the main desk. Which this is the main desktop. Then there's another one that goes next to it. There's 2 more actually. This thing is absolutely enormous. I have been pricing out desks for quite some time, and I am not happy with what I've been able to find in my price range. A lot of the good quality commercial stuff is just way overpriced for what I'm using it for. This is the best I could do for what I wanted to spend, which I was willing to spend up to $500, but I ended up spending only $100, and I got more desks than I ever wanted. So I've got to move all this stuff out of the way and start hauling that thing up piece by piece. But the first thing I've got to do is knock this one apart. This is an RTA desk that I bought from one of my former employers, Office Depot. I worked there very briefly, well, about 2 years. But I made sure to buy a new desk before I quit so I could get the employee discount. Well, that was easy. The harder they are to put together, the easier they fall. I built this desk the day I bought this condo. It's kind of bittersweet, you know. The day I moved in. Went over to Office Depot that night. And I picked up this desk. Came in one big giant flat box. And I don't know what's going to become of it. I'm going to have a hard time getting rid of it. I may have to just throw it away. It's a waste. If I can get it to fit in my car, what I will do is bring it over to Goodwill and see if they'll take it off my hands. It's a nice desk. I'd hate to see it get thrown away. It's in good condition. That's the thing. Yeah, it's all there. I might even have the instructions in one of these drawers. Put it back together again. Now this beauty is about as stable as the Apple iRack. This is one of those. This is what you get when you buy a actually I paid $100 for this from Target. This thing is ready to go down, baby. Ready to go down. The problem with these desks is they have no real structural integrity of any kind. Just a good a good amount of force forward. That's all it takes. Maybe not. Maybe I'm giving it a little too little credit. Actually, it's putting up quite a bit of a fight, you know. These really are junk, though. They're not even made of real wood. Watch. I guess I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Look at what that just did. I never liked this desk. Even when I was putting it together, I'm like, what did I just buy? And why did I pay real money for it? It just never had the ability to really hold any serious weight, which is what I use it for. See? Anyway, now that I have room for the new desk, it's time to start hauling the pieces up here. I think we'll be okay space-wise. I think we'll be just fine. Okay, step one, I have to assemble the base. All the pieces here, and I've got to do this from memory because I don't know where the instructions are. Well, the majority of the base is assembled. It's a pretty good sized desk, I wasn't kidding. It's going to take up this entire space. To get behind it, I'll have to basically walk around this little path. So I might have to do some rearranging of my bedroom, so I'm just trying to figure out how much and to what extent. So now the return is assembled. The return is built as a separate piece altogether. That's why I had to do it that way. It's actually, it could stand on its own if it had to. And it's just attached to the desk by a few screws. This desk is, well, I'm just going to say it. This desk is fucking huge. I didn't expect it to be this big. It's alright. But I'm not even done. There's still a whole superstructure that goes on top of it. Yeah, it's huge. This little thing right here, I had to ask about that. Turns out there's a, and I have it, it's downstairs. It's like a trolley that your monitor sits on. Being that this desk was designed in the mid-90s, you know, everybody had CRTs back then, obviously, so your CRT would sit on this giant trolley that you could pull in or out. There is a keyboard tray underneath. I have it. I'm just not going to install it. I don't use keyboard trays. I've never found them helpful. If anything, the Tandy is going to sit right there. The eMac is probably going to sit right here. I haven't quite decided. My MacBook is going to go somewhere over here. And I got all this space to work. I'm actually happy. This is going to work out. Considering actually moving that printer over to this. That way I can get rid of that printer stand and make that room available again, or that space. I actually kind of wanted to stuff the desk in that nook over there where my bed is, but it's too tall for that window, and I really don't. Yeah, I mean it's not too late to move it, but I'm not gonna move it. But to move this desk, even an inch, you almost have to disassemble it completely. It's that's just how this type of furniture, you know, goes together. Unfortunately, I had to make some improvements to the structure. Not sure if you'll be able to see this because it's so dark. Maybe I can bring this lamp down there. I'm thinking about renting out this space under here as an in-law apartment or something. You know, there's so much room. But you see all these little these corner brackets? I install those in strategic areas where I feel that extra support is needed. I'm actually going to put an L bracket or a flat bracket right there, just to tie those two pieces together a little bit better. But I also added some T brackets to hold the sections of the desk together, the desktop. The reason I did that is because the desk is actually pinned together and locked, and they can't really hold that much weight. I mean, if I had to stand on this to open those windows, I'd be afraid I'd break it. And all of the desks that they had were sagging. The two sections were uneven, so I wanted to bring those and tie them together a little bit better in the outboard section. And that's how the top is. This top is supported. So, but yeah, those corner braces, I put one over here too. They're there for a reason. I put them there in areas where they wouldn't be readily visible, and that's just to further increase the structural integrity of this desk. There's a really nice corkboard panel that goes right here. That's coming up next. And now we're having a freaking downpour. Oh my god. So at this point in time, I'm working on assembling the Hutch, which in and of itself is enormous. When it's assembled, it's just like, damn, this thing is huge. Huge. Okay, so there's a shelf that goes here and a shelf that goes here. What I'm going to do is actually take these CD racks out because it isn't $19.99 anymore, and we're going to get rid of those right now. Okay, told you. This could be used as a desk by itself, and it's got to go on top of that desk, which is the size of 1, 2, 3 desks. So I got 4 desks in one and an in-law apartment underneath. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2, I have to set it on top of the pins. Okay, now to hide those unsightly cam locks, or as many as we have buttons for. That's what these are for. The sheer massiveness of this desk is really evident. This is a fairly small room. Just to give you an example, there's my closet door, there's the stairs. There's a good 6 feet or so between this wall and the end of the return. And from the end of the return here to that wall, there's probably another good 6 or so feet. No, there's more than that. Probably 7 feet. But it is a big desk. Here's what I do know. From that knee wall to this wall is about 12 feet exactly. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. About 12 feet exactly. I know what that... I know. It's late. Anyway, so that is how it looks in the room, and I'm going to take a quick tour of what goes where. So we've got my Apple IIgs. My goal here was to get the IIgs out of storage and into an active, usable environment. The eMac ended up taking the center spot because it fit perfectly where it is. And my workhorse MacBook Pro is sitting right there with the Bose speakers. The Tandy is sitting over here at the beginning of the return, and I have this space left for writing, doing bills, paperwork, working on the occasional laptop if I need to do so. And I love this nice late 90s corkboard. This is more like mid 90s maybe. Absolutely beautiful condition. I can't stress this enough. I was fortunate enough to pick any one of the 12 or so units that were actually in the office. And I picked the one that had the least amount of wear and tear. And this was it. It had working drawers. It had a complete working door. The only thing I'm missing is the key to this lock, which my dad, fortunately, is a locksmith. He can make me a new key. So I gotta... He doesn't know that yet, but he's gonna make me a key for this. I'm gonna try to get him to do that anyway. So I've got this shelf up here. I could put my toy cars, my high school diploma, pictures, you know, a few odds and ends. The Apple IIgs disc box, and things like that. Inside here, I went out today and I bought some plastic tote bins to store out organize all of my various small items. And got these two. These are cool. So I got all my odds and ends that were sitting in the drawers before, all packed away, nice and organized. Under here I've got a junk drawer, and it hasn't found its purpose yet. File drawer down here. I'm gonna readjust those sliders. Now over here I've got the 2GS, or the Apple Image Writer printer sitting on this stand. My goal for this stand is I'm actually going to take this apart and paint it to match the rest of this desk. It's going to be painted gray, and I'm even going to try to imitate the speckle finish. I'm going to buy a can of, looks like blue and some gray, and I'm just going to mist the paint over the top just to give it that fleck finish. Then I'm going to give it a nice clear coat. As for the edges, I'm going to try to find a nice gray, a dark gray, medium dark gray. I'm going to paint the sides and the edges in that finish. It'll be really nice when it's done. But I'm glad I actually kept this stand. I was going to throw this away a long time ago, but I didn't. The return is what really makes the desk. It gives it so much room. And the nice thing about it is behind it, you can actually somebody can sit here with a chair. This is like a car salesman's desk is what it really is, or like an F&I manager desk. If you've ever bought a new or used car from a dealer, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's the kind of desk this is. This is something you would see in a used car dealership, typically. And I'm pretty sure the company or the dealership that I bought my 2 Hyundais from had very similar desks throughout their office. But yeah, it's like the late 90s threw up in my bedroom. I mean, the color scheme, the wacky pattern on this cork board, which is, I think it's cool. Everything about it just screams late 90s. And the equipment that's sitting on it, especially the that PC right there. I was going to have my my 20-some inch monitor set up as the extended monitor for the MacBook, but I've decided I really don't need it. I don't really use it. The reason I bought that monitor was I was taking some classes online, and which, by the way, is a total waste of time and money. I can't stress that enough. It was such a waste of my time and about $3,000 of my hard-earned money. But anyway, I took some classes online, and I bought the external monitor so that I could have the Blackboard software open on one side, and Microsoft Word on the other side, and whatever. But I haven't been using it, so I took it down. So I did. I wanted to talk about how I got this. This right here. This is a two-person operation, strictly a two-person operation. Getting this Hutch on top of this desk, seated correctly onto the camlock pins, is a challenge that I hope to never have to do again on my own. I had to lay on my back underneath the Hutch and pick up this section with my knees by pulling my legs together, and this section I lifted with my arms. So I'm like bench pressing this sucker from both ends, and then had to carefully guide it into position and then drop it down and hope to God I got it right. It took 2 or 3 tries, but I did in fact get it. So that was not easy. This is a two-person operation, no question. But anyway, it's done. It's in place. Now I have to find a home for the other desk, and that's going to be a challenge. The person that I thought was going to take it, she decided she didn't have the room for it, which is very unfortunate because it is a beautiful desk, and she would probably benefit from it because she runs a non-profit in her house and she doesn't have a desk. You try to help people out, but I can't get mad at her for not wanting it. But it's like, ugh, I found a solution for your problem. Oh well. So I'm gonna probably put it in Craigslist. Maybe try to get like $50 or something for it. I don't know. One of the things I've learned is that when you give things out or give things away on Craigslist, sometimes it can be a real challenge, especially if it's furniture. Because you get 100 people, exaggerating, but you get 100 people that say they want it and then they never show up. Or they show up and like, well, gee, it's too big. Whatever. Now, how I bought this desk, I didn't want to spend any money from my savings, and I just didn't want to spend a lot of money on a desk. I didn't have a budget for this project. I needed to do something. This opportunity came up, and I was not going to turn it down. So it was $100. I could have easily just bought it, but I had another problem. I had another issue. I had a beautiful cocktail table game sitting right there, and I knew that if I got this desk, I would need to. Well, I wouldn't have room for the cocktail table. So the cocktail table had to go. I put it on Craigslist for $150, which is about what I have in it. And you know what? That's what I got for it. I had about 5 people ask me if they wanted it, or if they wanted it. They asked me if it was available, and I said, yes, come and get it. And the first person who wanted it, who committed to coming over, he did in fact buy it full price. He didn't even try to negotiate on the price. I was a little surprised, but happily surprised. He picked it up. I took that $150 and I bought the desk. And I took the other $50 and I used it to fill the tank in my dad's truck, which brings me to another funny story. For those of you who haven't tuned out already, this is a good one. I saved the best for last. So my dad lets me borrow his truck. So I had to go over to his work. I took the day off work. I have all this vacation time I need to use, so I'm like, hey, I'm going to take the day off. I took the day off work, and I drove over to my dad's place of employment. I left my car there and I picked his up. And as I'm driving, I noticed it like had no gas in it. It was like a quarter of a tank. So I did the run, which was, I think I put about, I don't know, 75 miles on this poor little pickup truck. And because I had to drive, you know, several towns over and back and forth and whatnot. So I put a lot of miles on his little truck. So I'm like, you know, I should probably, you know, give him a full tank of gas. So just before I dropped it off, I filled the tank completely. It cost me about $45 to fill the tank. And so I left it there, and then I took my car, went home, put the desk together. That's when I shot all that video yesterday about the assembly and whatnot. So I got a call from my dad, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for filling my tank." I'm like, "Oh, no problem. Thanks for the truck." But he's like, "Oh no, you don't understand." He knew he had no gas, but I guess he forgot that I had used the truck or something. I don't know. So he knew in his mind that he needed fuel. So he drove to the gas. As soon as he left work, he went to the gas station. He didn't bother to look at the fuel gauge for some reason. So he just drove to the gas station and prepaid for fuel, because my dad is old-fashioned like that. He pays in cash. And I'm going to shut this little apple off. Maybe we'll play with it a little bit. No, maybe not. So he prepays like $40 for gas, right? Then he goes up to the gas pump and he starts filling his truck, and it wouldn't take the gas. So there's like, oh, what the fuck? And then he gets out of the truck. He goes into the store and he says, "Your gas pump is broken." So she says, "Okay, fine. I'll tell you what we'll do. You want to use pump number, I don't know, 3. So she applied the $40 credit to pump 3. And he goes back to pump. He drives around the little island thing and he starts filling up his truck. Like, fucking thing doesn't work. And he gets back into the store like, "That pump is broken. Give me my money back." So he's all pissed off. He gets his money back. And then he starts his truck, and then he looks at the fuel gauge and he's like, "Oh, you son of a bitch." The thing is full right to the rim. Oh, that was funny. Told me that story. I still find it. I still chuckle. I'm like, you serious, you dumbass? Tried to fill your truck when it was full. Anyway, so this is done. I'm happy with the results. I've shot entirely too much video on what should be a 5-minute project. I know. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna leave you with that. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more stuff. I know those of you who are into the computer videos, I haven't had a lot of projects come my way, but I've got some stuff up my sleeve. Don't worry, it's coming very soon. Thanks again.